wildly. A hint of worry stole over her face. Her eyes grew to the size of golf balls as Scooter and his crew walked in. "Oh, shit," the DJ spat into the microphone. "Y'all get ready. Here's Lotus's signature move." Aphtan watched them slowly. Her eyes met Scooter's. Fear immediately came over her. She could see the hate in his eyes, the desire to take her life. She positioned her hands, then her legs, as they split in the air. She never stopped looking at Scooter as she slid all the way to the ground into a split on the floor. Scooter stared at her from across the room. He just stared, nothing else. Aphtan could feel his pulse beating in her ears from across the room, blocking out all other sounds except the breath that was raggedly moving in and out of her mouth at regular gasping intervals. If she could hear it from all the way across the room, she imagined it was deafening in his own ears. Their eyes locked, so now it was apparent that she too was staring. Aphtan could not take her eyes away from the other set of eyes across the room that were staring her down. Nothing else mattered. The connection had to be held. If it broke, she would die. He would die. Maybe both of them would. Aphtan had never felt so certain of anything else in her life. Aphtan discerned that Scooter could no longer control his hands. They were shaking in an odd, trembling rhythm as the color drained from his face. Yet still he stared. He looked as if he was willing himself not to run, willing the connection to hold. "There it goes!" The DJ spun around, tangling himself into his headset. "That's the move that has been imitated by many, but only Lotus does it right. She is the one and only Lotus." Aphtan eased herself off the ground. Scooter and his crew were now in the front of the crowd. All she wanted to do was get away. She put 2 fingers in the air to let the DJ know to end the song. She ignored the crowd's disappointment as they yelled for their money back while she gathered the bills from the ground. Grabbing her trench coat, she put it on and walked quickly off the stage. She could feel Scooter's eyes follow her every move. She opened the door and rushed through it. She paced to the dressing room. Her feet sped up with each second that passed. She ran to her locker while shock consumed her body. Her heart beat inside her throat as she gathered all of her belongings. All of the strippers looked on with wonder as beads of sweat formed all over her face. Aphtan hadn't thought Scooter would come for her that quickly. It had only been a few hours since he'd accused her of something she had not done. She thought for sure that she could make a quick few grand and be on her way, but as the door closed behind her in the locker room, she knew that wasn't going to happen. She was caught, and there was nothing that she could say to save her life. She turned around. The smell of his cologne confirmed that it was him before her eyes ever could. A loud ringing formed in her ears as he smiled at her. He winked at her, antagonizing her. A scarce stream of pee rushed out of Aphtan as Scooter removed the gun from his waist and pointed it at her. "Ladies," he yelled, getting the other dancers' attention in the room, "may we have a moment?" The dancers screamed as they ran like a herd of bulls at the raise of a red flag. The sight of Scooter meant something bad was about to go down, and they didn't want any part of it. He walked over to Aphtan. Tears rushed down her face without a sound exiting her mouth. He rubbed the small dimple on her cheek while they glared into each other's eyes. He pressed the gun into her chest as she closed her eyes, inviting her end. Why? He pressed the gun as hard as he could into her bare flesh.